Picture this. You wake up, open your window, and instead of a horizon curving gently into the distance, you're staring at a terrifyingly sharp edge. Overnight, our cozy blue marble has gone Minecraft mode. It's now a giant cosmic dice rolling through space. Congratulations, you now live on Cube Earth. First things first, gravity. On round Earth, gravity pulls you nicely toward the center from every direction, which is why oceans stay where they belong and coffee doesn't float away. On Cube Earth, gravity would still pull toward the center of mass, except now that center doesn't line up neatly with the flat faces, the sharp edges, or, heaven forbid, the corners. If you live on the middle of a cube face, life wouldn't feel too different. Your apple would still fall down, your chair would stay in place, and you'd still spill soup the exact same way. But take a stroll toward the edges, and suddenly things get weird. Gravity would start tugging at an angle, pulling you diagonally toward the cube's heart. The closer you get to a corner, the more you'd feel like you're walking uphill while actually going sideways. People living near the edges would constantly feel as though they were being dragged into the middle, like an invisible slide no one asked for. Cities near the corners? Forget about it. Buildings would lean. Rivers would flow at bizarre angles. And you'd need seatbelts just to walk your dog. Now, the oceans. Poor, confused oceans. Water loves round planets. It spreads evenly thanks to gravity. On Cube Earth, the seas would gather in the middle of each face, forming 6 massive square super oceans, the edges and corners, bone-dry wastelands. Imagine enormous deserts along the cube's ridges, while giant watery squares dominate the faces. Flying from one ocean to another would mean crossing hundreds of miles of barren land that looks like someone forgot to finish texturing the map. The climate? Total chaos. On regular Earth, the atmosphere wraps smoothly around the sphere. On Cube Earth, wind would slam against the cube's edges like an air hockey puck hitting a wall. Hurricanes? They'd get stuck spinning along corners forever like glitchy weather tornadoes. And good luck predicting rainfall. Entire continents could be bone dry while others get endless floods, depending on where the cube decides to store its clouds. And let's not even talk about tectonic plates. The sharp corners would act like pressure cookers, where earthquakes and volcanoes erupt non-stop. Imagine lava waterfalls pouring straight off the cube's edges. On the plus side, tourism would skyrocket. Come see Lava Niagara, half the risk, double the spectacle. Of course, humans being humans, we'd adapt. Architects would invent anti-lean houses for edge dwellers. Airlines would sell edge view flights for thrill seekers who want to stare into the terrifying void of a cube corner. And billionaires? Oh, they'd buy property right on the corner just to say they own the only place on Earth where you can see 3 horizons at once. But life wouldn't be easy. Farming would collapse on the ridges where water refuses to stay. International shipping would be a nightmare. Giant cargo ships would constantly slide toward the ocean's middle, making captains scream, "Not again!" And don't get me started on sports. A simple soccer game would become impossible. The ball would roll weirdly toward the cube's center. Imagine the chaos in the World Cup. And Messi takes the shot. Wait, the ball's curving uphill? And yet, people would adjust. Kids would skateboard down diagonal gravity slopes. Extreme athletes would climb the cube's corners as the new Mount Everest. And philosophers? They'd finally admit Earth really is edgy. In the end, Cube Earth would be hilarious, dangerous, and spectacular all at once. Gravity would bully us into the middle of every face. Oceans would turn into square puddles, and entire civilizations would collapse and rebuild around the cube's bizarre physics. So maybe we should be thankful for our nice, boring round Earth. It may not be as geometrically satisfying, but at least gravity doesn't drag us sideways into the kitchen. And honestly, who really wants to live on a giant cosmic Rubik's Cube that tries to kill you at every corner?